Monday evening, June 5th, 2023.
You are listening to Weather with Enthusiasm.
Meteorologist Simcha Lefton. Weather with Enthusiasm is his podcast.
It is always an inspiration to watch how the summer heat spreads across the northern hemisphere. This summer is certainly no exception. It starts really in June. Many years starts in May. This year it started in May. The inspiration is just that it's just an awesome design, our planet Earth with the sun. One would think that as the sun gets weaker in the northern hemisphere, the further north you go, the less solar insolation there would be. One would think that, therefore, summer will always be hotter, much hotter down south than it would be up north. While that's true, when you add up the summer all in all, but for the month of June, the temperature is totally disproportional, big time, in regards to how much the increase is from beginning to end up north. It's just totally amazing. We have temperatures expected to go well into the 90s in two parts of the world, well up north, between 55 and 60 degrees north latitude. In fact, by Friday in Canada, even 61 degrees north latitude, pushing 62 degrees north latitude, Indian Cabins, Canada, and areas around there, Fort Simpson, places around there, a lot of different other forts way up there. Temperatures both Friday and Saturday, upper 80s to lower or even mid 90s in some spots. This is due to the very intense solar insolation this time of the year, and this is likely only going to increase. The first week of May, we saw temperatures about 90, even hitting 90, very close to 90, or it hit 90 up at 58 degrees north latitude. Now we're holding approaching 62 degrees north latitude. That's here over in the Canadian area, right above the Midwest. It's actually more above the Pacific Northwest. Going out into the other part of the world, up in Russia, we have over there temperatures going into the low hundreds for the next 3 days, around 55 degrees north latitude, but temperatures remaining in the low 90s up to 59 degrees north latitude. So we don't quite see the 90-degree heat making it past 60 degrees north latitude. At least I wasn't able to detect it. That's something immediate right now in the 55 degrees north latitude. We have, for the past several days already, we've been seeing temperatures in the mid and upper 90s. These names of the cities are very difficult to pronounce. I did pronounce them on a YouTube video that I made, which is totally different than an episode in Weather with Enthusiasm, at least the ones which are not connected to the episode. But we have that type of weather going on in the Russian area and places next to there, as is usual for this time of the year. Despite the fact it's usual, records usually are broken or become very close to breaking the records due to the fact that it doesn't always take place on the same dates. Temperatures are likely going to go even hotter, as we've mentioned, within the next couple of weeks. As we head especially into the last week of June, it's always the question is, when will the 90s make it into the Arctic? The Arctic is 66, 67 degrees north latitude. It's usually, once I see there's no more sunrise or sunset being mentioned on these weather charts, that means we've arrived into the Arctic, where the days are 24 hours long. These places have about 20 hours of daylight right now, the places that we've mentioned, which are going to have those temperatures going into the 90s. Something which is really totally unique this year, I think it actually happens every year, but this year it's been more intense than usual, at least it feels that way, are the wildfires, the smoke from the wildfires that's in Canada that's making its way in all directions. We have air masses moving back and forth. Sometimes they're moving west, sometimes they're moving east, and the smoke has spread from all directions into the United States. I'm going to read you something that is from the Tulsa, Oklahoma National Weather Service, and this is actually a very interesting, also an important thing to know in regards to ozone and the way the sun interacts with the ozone. So we have an ozone alert in effect for Tulsa, Oklahoma, along with every city I've looked at in the U.S., and then we have much stronger than alert up in Canada. The visibility is actually going way down, and in Canada they're encouraging people to work indoors and to buy special filters and even to wear an N95 mask if you have to be outside. Visibility at times will be sharply reduced due to the smoke. The Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality has issued an ozone alert for Tuesday for the Tulsa metropolitan area. An ozone alert means that conditions are favorable for the buildup of ozone near the ground to an unhealthy level. When winds are light, the vapors from fuels such as gasoline, exhaust from engines, and air pollution from industrial activities remain trapped near the ground. If sunshine is abundant, when these air pollutants build up, a chemical process is triggered that results in the development of ozone near the ground during the afternoon and evening hours. While ozone in the upper levels of the atmosphere is beneficial in screening the sun's radiation, it is harmful near the ground. Ozone can bother those with respiratory problems and can damage vegetation. A few simple measures can be taken to help keep the ozone levels from becoming unhealthy. During ozone alert days, postpone any unnecessary driving and carpool if possible. You can also cut down on extra driving by bringing your lunch to work. If you must refuel your vehicle, do it in the evening after the sun goes down. Postpone your fueling to another day. Postpone running the lawnmower and gas trimmer. The exhaust from these small engines contributes a significant amount of pollution to the air. Industrial facilities should reduce pollution emissions as much as possible in ozone alert days. These preventative measures performed throughout the Tulsa metro area can have a tremendous effect in reducing the pollutants that contribute to ozone problems. For further information, contact the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality at 918-293-1600 or the Indian Nations Council of Governments at 918-584-7526. Additional information can also be found at www.ozonealert.com, including current ozone levels around the Tulsa area. This is actually relevant to almost everywhere in the U.S. right now. I don't know about the extreme southeast, but I know meteorologist Tom Skilling also spoke about this the other day on the Chicago station WGN in regards to the effect that the sun has, how it makes it more dangerous when the sun is out. The smoke from the wildfires in Canada will be causing a reduction in temperatures in many locations by about a degree or two because the smoke does filter out the sun. But other than that, the heat is expected to continue. We don't have anything dangerous right now, at least here in the Midwest. And even up in Canada, maybe it is slightly dangerous for people who are not used to it. The local Chicago weather, we have a cold wind coming in off of Lake Michigan for the next 2 days, for Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit of Thursday as well. And things heat up again for Friday and Shabbos, and then colder air. At least the European computer model has warm air over our area for Shabbos. And then cooler air comes in for a period of time next week in the beginning. And then for the second half of next week, I heard that warmer weather is on the way, but I don't know how true that is. We have a setup going on in the west part of our country and on the east part of our country, which will be ideal for bringing warm air, bringing instant heat into the middle part of the country. And the middle part of the country right now includes everywhere from South Texas going all the way up into Canada. That's what a certain meteorologist said, and I don't know how true it is or not, so we'll just leave it at that. and I wish everyone a great night and enjoy the beautiful warm weather that we have here. Although we do have lots of showers and scattered thunderstorms that developed across the plains today and might continue to do so, there's been a lack of severe weather, just only a few isolated severe weather events. That's due to the high pressure, this high pressure ridge that remains anchored right over the Midwest, the upper Midwest. What we have here is an upper level ridge, an upper level high pressure, which is around the upper Midwest, south central Canada. And then we have the surface high pressure, which is off in the Northeast. The upper level ridge, that high pressure, is what's preventing any tornadoes from developing for the most part. It prevents the shear in the atmosphere. So the storms which have been developing, although you could still get some hail, large hail even, especially down in Texas, but the tornadoes, there has not been that many of them. Maybe, I don't even know how many there's been, but the numbers have been way down in recent times. Much different than what we had a while ago. And that's all due to this high pressure, which has also been responsible for producing this rapid onset drought here in the Midwest, it's very nice summer weather for quite a while already. Thank you for listening. I wish everyone a good night. I just want to mention one last thing is that AccuWeather has changed yesterday's 126 degree reading that was registered at Shuster, Iran, Shushtar, Iran. They've put it back to 119 degrees. Temperatures are forecasted to go back up to 126 to 128 degrees. According to them, their forecast for next week. I don't really understand the whole cycle because we went through this last summer as well with all these ups and downs where they would make these very intense forecasts. The temperatures would seem to materialize, but then the temperatures would be taken away as if they never happened. So I don't really know what's going on with that. But so as of now, that town is no longer considered to have reached 126 degrees. It's only at 119 degrees, but there are mid to upper 120s in the forecast for highs for all of next week. The screenshot shows forecasted temperatures of 90 degrees right along the Arctic Circle or just to the south. You've been listening to the podcast Weather with Enthusiasm. Following is a winter storm watch in effect from the Omaha, Nebraska National Weather Service. Several additional feet of snow is expected by Monday morning. People were reporting frost quakes. These are earthquake-like tremors.
We have a powerhouse typhoon which has developed off in the Pacific Ocean.
A big shockaroo to many of you. We have parts of the world that are so hot right now. Temperatures are expected to go into the low 130s. Recorded temperatures during heat bursts have reached well above 104 degrees. It's a rare atmospheric phenomenon. We're going from one extreme to the next extreme. Feet of snow are falling in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
Just Google weather with enthusiasm and they're all gonna come up.
For thunder and for lightning and the rainbow in the sky, for mountains and for oceans or a river running by.